Dear delegates, welcome to the session of the Committee for Employment and Social Affairs. Today we will debate the proposal for a directive of the European Parliament and of the Council in improving the gender balance among non-executive directors. The delegate of Hungary, you are now recognized.
I do not believe that such regulation of the private sector falls within the authority of the legislature. The autonomy of the private sector must remain intact. Instead of obliging companies to employ more women through statutory quotas, the government's task, on the contrary, would be to encourage women to prioritize their careers and to help them re-enter the positions after maternity leave through the creation of favorable conditions and support systems. In Hungary, 33% of women under the age of 24 and 30% of women aged between 25 and 29 feel that motherhood limits their professional opportunities, while another 30% voluntarily decide not to pursue a career and to dedicate their full attention to raising their children. I believe that instead of passing unreasonable regulations and manipulating the performances of firms, we should aim to solve the problem in the long run based on the voluntary commitment of working women and organizations, rather than by external interventions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Delegate of Hungary. Delegate of Norway, you are now recognized.
As you all know, Norway implemented an obligatory 40% quota for women on company boards already, and thus we are for the statement that will be discussed today. The conflict of interest between the current mostly male leaders in business and minority groups in business, like women in this example, is one that is very persistent and not very likely to change without any negative incentives. Therefore, without implementing any form of corporate governance, women will keep on being underrepresented in the corporate boards. When the playing field is skewed with strong historical and cultural biases hindering change towards a more equitable use of the talent pool, incentives such as the quota law can establish new role models and new, more effective standards. Other benefits of women on company boards are the higher legitimacy of the boards, as they better represent the composition of the population. Furthermore, women can bring in new perspectives and improve the quality of decision making. Also, the board becomes more global, who can bring in new perspectives as well. Last, no significant negative effects have been observed in several studies. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate of Norway. Delegate of Germany, you are now recognized.
Vielen Dank für das Wort, Herr Präsident.
We must remember that our end goal is much more far-reaching than having women on boards. We want to ensure that both genders have equal chances to build a career and enter leadership positions. The example of my country shows that quotas do not help to offset the desired mindset shift. The German FUPOG law of 2016 mandates that publicly listed or fully co-determined firms must have 30% female supervisory boards or face sanctions. Although the proportion of female members on the DAX 30 supervisory boards did increase from 10% in 2010 to 33% in 2016, we find evidence that the same women took on multiple board positions and that boards have been inflated to avoid the turnover of male directors. In consecutive years, we saw the number of women on supervisory boards stagnate. The firms have made no further efforts to hire female non-executives. The reason for that could be that women have not been appointed to board positions that have formal influence on this. The proportion of female chairs remained at 2.2% after the enactment of the law, and the number of women appointed is lowest in the nomination out of all committees. Also, due to the two-tier board structure, the quota had no effect on the composition of executive boards or lower management suits. We cannot expect a revolution from a one-size-fits-all quick fix. Instead of quotas, we need an all-round set of measures that comprehends differences in firm sizes, industries, and member states' governance structures.
Thank you, Delegate of Germany. Delegate of the Netherlands, you have 1 minute.
Bedankt voor het woord, president.
In the Netherlands, since 2013, companies must aim for at least 30% female directors and supervisory directors. The result and prognosis of the effect of this law is the following. For female board members, from 5% in 2012 to prognosis of 32% in 2025. The supervisory boards, the development will be the following. 13% in 2012 to a prognosis of 41% in 2025. An enormous growth for both. The coming years this is possible due to the fact that the number of well-educated women will exceed the number of male counterparts. They are perfectly suitable to reach top position. There's no need for a hard quotum. We need to look more closely to the motivation of women. 2/3 of women in the Netherlands start working part-time after graduating. The fact that you encounter fewer women at the top of the business world may be well because less women aspire such career. New laws could not force yet qualified women to the top. There's no need for a hard quotum.
Thank you, Delegate of the Netherlands. Delegate of France, please. Merci beaucoup, Président.
I would like to begin by thanking everybody for providing me with the opportunity today to speak at this conference. Evidence from Norway shows that firms with a suboptimal governance structure before the introduction of the quota benefited from increased monitoring with female directors on the board. In addition to this, a paper out of Norway published in 2011 finds that the evidence of the negative impact on the stock price of Norwegian firms from the Norwegian gender quota is mostly insignificant at standard levels of statistical significance. This paper also finds that despite businesses' fears that there were not enough qualified women to fill the board positions, the new reserve seats were filled with women who are observationally better qualified to serve on boards along many dimensions than women appointed prior to the quota. Thank you.
We will now proceed to the voting stage. Based on the results of the voting, the European Parliament has decided to pass the resolution in favor of gender quotas. Thank you.